Thank you. Hey, put your hands together for Darla. She is the superwoman making this thing happen today. Thank you. My name is Milton Wolf, and I am the doctor who is Barack Obama's cousin, and when I studied his plan, I knew I had to take a stand against it. I had to stand for my patients, for my profession, and I had to stand for my country. And I knew I had to be here today to stand with you. Thank you. You know, after having gone public, after having jumped in and all the circus that has surrounded my life, all the television shows, the radio programs, the newspaper articles, I can't go anywhere without somebody coming up to me and saying, hey, haven't I seen you before? I've seen you on TV, right? And my reply is always the same. Was it cops? Because I swear that guy just looks a lot like me. Years ago, I made an oath to my patients that I would provide for them medical care to the best of my ability. And in those years, I've come to know the joys and the burdens of that oath all too well. I have stood with families in the best and worst moments of their lives. I have had the honor of delivering new lives into this world, and I have had to stand and be humbled in the relentless face of death. And it's in those moments that I've asked myself, what if? What if I had known this? What if I had done that? Maybe you've asked yourself that question, what if? What if I had gotten involved? What if I had tried to make a difference? Liberty is not a spectator sport. Ronald Reagan told us that freedom is never more than a generation away from being extinguished. And I understand that better today than in the days he spoke it when I see what's going on in our country. They have chosen health care as a front in their assault against our freedom. They know if they can force themselves between you and your doctor, there's no part of our lives that they can't touch. Well, what they call a health care plan calls for 16,000 new IRS agents, but not a single new doctor. 16,000 new tax collectors, but not a single new nurse. What they call a health care plan calls for new taxes on everything from tampons to tanning salons. And deep hidden in the thousands of pages of this bill is the very health care rationing that this president and this Congress has sworn is not there. Nancy Pelosi says you have to vote for the bill so you can find out what's in the bill. Well, our own congressman took it one step further. Dennis Moore went on air last month and was cornered and caught and forced to admit that he hadn't even read the bill. They said this would be the most sweeping legislation in our lifetime. They said it would transform our country, and yet they couldn't even be bothered to read it. Dennis Moore, I consider this to be a dereliction of the most basic of your sworn duties as a United States congressional representative. Now, most states, they have to wait until November before they can remove their derelict members, but Kansas allows the recall of elected public officials. Other states are starting their own recall efforts. North Dakota, Virginia, New Jersey. Just last month, the courts in New Jersey ruled that the recall effort against Robert Menendez must proceed. Now, the legal giants behind that effort are the good folks at the ACRU, that's the American Civil Rights Union, and they stand at the ready for us in Kansas when we do the same with Dennis Moore. So we ask, why recall? Why recall on principle alone? This is a man who wouldn't be bothered to read the bill before foisting it upon us. But if you need another reason, how about this? The election's coming up in November. I will make a new oath to you that between today and November, I will give every bit of my energy to hold them on trial for this health care bill itself. I will make them defend the indefensible. I will make them defend the 16,000 new tax collectors. Let's let them defend the Medicare cuts. Let's let them defend the fact that they didn't read this bill. Let's make them defend their very jobs. They think you will forget. They think They run around the country now patting themselves on the back, and they say you'll forget what they've done. And they'll forget the way that they did it. You'll forget all the sleazy backroom deals, the Cornhusker kickback, that you'll forget that they rammed it through with the majority of Americans against it. And the majority are. You stand with the majority of Americans. Just this week, 58% of Americans said they want the outright repeal of Obamacare. We will make that happen, but only if we make them defend what they have done. Repeal and replace. I want repeal and replace to be the touchstone of the 2010 election, just as the contract with America was in 1994. If we're going to make that happen, we've got to turn the heat up on them. We've got to find good patriots who will go out and stand with us on three things. Number one, follow the Constitution. Number two, control the runaway spending. Number three, protect the free market. If they don't do those things, they won't stand for repeal and replace. That's how we will know who they are. We can do better, and we must do better for the sake of our liberty, for the sake of our lives. So I ask this question, what if? What if we choose a new destiny? What if we choose to make a new history right now? We are the sons of the forefathers who came before us, and we will be as honorable in our hour as they were in theirs, because today we have our own rendezvous with destiny. I realize that every Goliath story seeks its David, but this is something so much more. This is an army of Davids. You are the army of Davids, and we will not go silently in the night. We will not back down. We will change this Congress. We will change this country, and with the righteous winds of liberty at our backs, we will change the world. Thank you. God bless you all.
What if I make mistakes? Will you? What if I change the world? What if I take the blame? Will you be there?
Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being the great Americans you are. RecallDennisMoore.com. Sign the petition that starts this process. Get your friends to do the same.